Germany have done it. They have conquered the world.
I think it's time we finally break down a basketball player that turns into a completely different player during the FIBA World Cup, a man that went against all the odds and gave Germany their first gold medal in the country's basketball history. This man goes by the name of Dennis Schröder, and in today's video we'll be breaking down film on him and how he broke down Serbia's defense in the FIBA final. We will also be comparing him to an NBA player that is very similar to him, so make sure you stick till the end for that comparison. Alright, so you guys may be asking, how in the world did Dennis Schröder himself break down Serbia's defense? Well, let me tell you, it was simply based on the fact that he's not a flashy player. He gets right into his pick and roll offenses, and FIBA, it really meshes well. You know, you never want to be that player that's overly dribbling the ball and wasting possessions. This play, Schroder resets offense, which signals his teammate to send a pick. And once the pick is set, Dennis goes over the pick, then back under, which switches the smaller defender on the big man and just enables the big man to have an easy floater and an easy bucket. And even on this play here, Dennis Schröder does an amazing job. So he sees that Germany is running a floppy action where they're trying to get a shooter open for a wide open three, but instead Dennis Schröder dribbles to the right hand side, and this makes the defender so lost because he thinks that Dennis Schröder is gonna pass the ball, but in reality Dennis Schröder goes right at the rim and hits the defender with a layup, broke off the defender lacking. So as you guys can see, he's a very good playmaker, and in fact in the whole FIBA World Cup he was averaging 6.1 assists per game. The one game that really stood out to me was when he had 9 assists against Team USA, and he did this while getting 0 turnovers. The guy had 9 assists and didn't even throw the ball away. And you may be curious to know his total stats in the FIBA World Cup. He had 19.1 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, 6.1 assists per game, and most importantly, he averaged 1.4 steals per game, which made him an absolute problem on defense. Now you guys are probably in the middle of the video and you're saying, okay, so we know the numbers, we know that he could play make off pick and rolls. Which player does he remind you of? Dennis Schröder in the FIBA World Cup final reminded me of a prime Rajon Rondo on the Boston Celtics, and let me tell you why. But don't get me wrong, Dennis Schröder is nowhere near prime Rondo, but I'm just saying it as a comparison because I think both players are very good at the pick and roll and getting other people open, but they can score as well. Dennis Schröder isn't the best three-point shooter, but he'll knock down some three-pointers, and the same goes with Rajon Rondo. But there is one move that both Rajon Rondo and Dennis Schröder do to get themselves wide open for a layup, and let me show you what it is. On this play, Rondo is running at the rim pretty quick, but he slowly realizes that there's too many defenders in there, so what does he do? He walks the ball out and just makes his defender fall asleep by slowly dribbling it, and then out of nowhere he sprints right at the rim and catches his defender sleeping for a wide open layup. And well, what do you know? Dennis Schröder does the same move as well. On this play, he runs right at the Sacramento Kings offense and he sees there's too many people, so he slowly walks his way back to get the defender to sleep. Then he instantly just drives right into the paint for a wide open layup. As you guys see, both these guys have very similar games, but the real question is, can Dennis Schröder take what he did in the international scene and bring it to the NBA? And this is because in the 2020 season with the LA Lakers, he reportedly turned down an $84 million contract, and because of this, everybody on social media was making fun of him, saying that he lost money, and they weren't wrong. He ended up having a very bad playoff performance with the Lakers that season, and then after that, he went to play for the Boston Celtics, but that play style didn't even fit well with him again. And once he got dropped, he signed with the Lakers again for a veteran minimum, which is literally like $1 or $2 million. But I think this veteran minimum contract gave Dennis Schröder this new confidence level, this new chip on his shoulder, because just recently last season with the Lakers, he averaged 12.6 points per game, 2.5 rebounds per game, and 4.5 assists per game, while having one of the coldest celebrations I've seen alongside D'Angelo Russell, which is that ice in my veins thing. And after this performance with the Lakers last season, this caused him to go into the free agent market and get a lot of interest from other teams, and one team that came out was the Toronto Raptors, and this summer they signed him to a 2-year $26 million contract, which is pretty cheap after we look at his FIBA performance. And we gotta understand that the Raptors are without a point guard. Fred VanVleet is out of here. So when Dennis Schröder is moving into this new opportunity with the Toronto Raptors, he knows the head coach Darko Rajakovic because he played with him before, and he has a lot of players around him that suit his playstyle. For example, Scotty Barnes is a high flyer. He can throw him lobs and a lot of assists. He has players to spread the floor like Gary Trent Jr. knocking down 3-pointers, and most importantly, he has a big man, Jakob Poeltl. He can run a lot of pick and rolls that he did on the international stage. So he's coming to a team that fits his playstyle. Everything is looking good, so I will not be surprised if Dennis Schröder has one of his best seasons with the Toronto Raptors. And for everyone that made fun of him on Twitter, now look at what's happening. The guy just signed a $24 million contract, and bro's getting his money back. This might have been Dennis Schröder's second best comeback in his NBA career, behind his first place comeback, which was him getting that haircut with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know what bro's barber was thinking. He must have hated him that day. Before you leave today's video, let's just give a honorable mention to the other two players on the German roster that really stood out to me, and this was the two Wagner brothers. So the first one was Moritz Wagner, and this guy did amazing. He averaged 11.9 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. He's still a very young player, 26 years old, has a lot of room to grow, and I think he'll do well. Even in the pick and roll on the German roster, and this was his younger brother, Franz Wagner. In my opinion, he's the better younger brother, has a lot more potential. He can shoot the ball from the three, and he averaged 16.8 points, 6.5 rebounds per game, and 3 assists in the FIBA World Cup. But there's one player that I haven't really talked about, and there's a reason for this, and this is Daniel Theis. He was probably one of my favorite players to watch on this roster because he's 31 years old. He was sort of like the vet of the roster, but his pick and rolls with Dennis Schröder, and without Theis, I don't think this roster would have even worked out because they needed that veteran in the locker room to keep everyone level-headed, and he did that. He averaged 10.9 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, and 1.9 assists per game. These are amazing stats. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think that Dennis Schröder could do what he did and translate it in the NBA, or will he go back to being like that sort of role player in the NBA and not really playing as crazy as he did on the German roster? Before you leave today's video, make sure you guys smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. But that's been all for your boy Mubsy Hoops. If you want some more videos, go ahead and click on these next couple of videos. I'm pretty sure you like them. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.